This video will cover entering in data for the Lab Manager version 7. If you double click on this, it'll pull up the software. This video is going to cover entering in accounts, products, and materials in the effort to give you the information that you need to create your cases. And when the login screen comes up, you're going to click Login. If this is a blank database, a setup wizard is going to pop up. It's going to give you a step-by-step list of things that need to be done so that you have everything that you need. If this has information, or if you have already told the setup wizard to disappear, then this is just going to take you to the main menu. The main menu is an easy way to get around the software, so you can use these buttons here. It will take you to different menus. Everything else can also be accessed up here. So reports in different categories, and you can find reports that way. You can also use the shortcut menu items. You can set up shortcuts that work for you. Each workstation can have their own list. You can also find different cases. So using the case locator, you can find things by case number, or PAN, or patient. And so once we have some cases in here, you'll be able to pull those up. The easiest way, at least from this screen, to enter in accounts would be going up to New, Account, and we're going to type in an account name. Now this can be a clinic or a doctor's name. So if this is Southside Dental Practice, we're going to assign it to a price list. Now there are other accounts already that I've set up, so we're going to set this up under price list number 3 because they're going to have a different price than everyone else. And then we have invoice terms. You'll need to set up invoice terms or use standard terms. For this, we're going to use the standard net terms. So this is going to give them service charges at the end of the month if they do not pay on time. We do need to add a location. So this is the address. When we click on the add location, it's going to pop up a box. In this box, we're going to put the address either for the invoice or statement, or it could be for both. So we're going to put in 67 North Main Street. And we have to have a tax rate. Your tax rate can be 0, but there has to be something in this drop-down list. And then click Save New. You can also put in your doctors in here. Every account has to have at least one doctor. This is just for defaults. Right now we have nothing in the defaults for this one, so we're going to say no. We don't want to overwrite what we have already put in. So we're going to put in here that this is for Dr. Ted Johnson. And we're going to click Save New. So now you're going to see that you have an account, name, a price list, so their prices are going to pop up. Invoice terms, so at the end of the month you're going to have the amount that they owe, and if they're past due you'll have service charges. And then you have their account. You might have 2 different locations, one for invoices, one for statements. And then you're going to also have doctors, so the people that are working at this specific clinic. Once this is complete, we can also do a starting balance. So again, we're going to not deal with the defaults, but we're going to give them a starting balance of $500. So this would have been built out in a different system, and this is what is being carried over. We're going to click Save Changes. At that point, that has saved the account, the locations, and the doctor. We are also going to add their price into a price list or into a product. And so we're going to add a product in here. And the product, we're going to do, say, 3/4, we'll say gold crown. And we're going to assign this to a department, so the Crown and Bridge department. We have them assigned to price list number 3, but we also have other ones assigned to price list number 1. So other doctors may be $100, price list number 2 may be $120, and price list number 3 may be $130. Once you have your product in with your prices, you're going to click Save New. Now, after products, you may have materials. Materials are anything additional that's charged on top of the actual product. So normally that would be things like gold. And we're just going to do a generic name of gold. And it may be by pennyweight. And for easy round numbers, we're going to do $100 per pennyweight with zero markup, or you can put in a markup amount. So maybe you have 5%. And we're going to assign this to a department. And click Save New. So at this point we have accounts, products, and materials. We have enough to enter in cases. So we're going to go down to New, or up to New, in Case. And this is case entry. This is where you're going to enter in your cases. So we're going to pull up the doctor that we just created. And so that was Ted Johnson with Southside Dental Practice. And here's his address. And I'm going to put in a patient name with last name, comma, first name, so that when it's alphabetized, you actually have it by last name so you can pull it up. Anything in bold, patient, receive date, those are items that have to be on here. And you have to at least have a product on a case. You do not have to have a product and material, but at least a product. And the other dates in here are completely optional. So you can use the calendar to fill those in if you want to. To add a product, we're going to go click on New Product down here. And you can either click it by product name, or if you knew what the ID was, then you can click on the actual ID of the product. So we're going to go to the 3/4 gold crown. And for this specific doctor, he is $130 for this product. If we decided to take this product off and change this to a different doctor, you would see that this one is $100 instead of $130, and that would be because we've set up different prices for different doctors. Now, you can also add materials. Materials, like I said, are additional items like gold. So if we add gold on here and we say it's maybe just a portion of a pennyweight, maybe we only use 0.25. It's going to figure out the amount that is owed at that point, and then you'll have a summary over here on the far side for products, materials, and a grand total. You have a couple of options to close out this case. One is just to save and close, and it's just going to save the information but not invoice it. You can also do Save and New. That's going to save the information and give you a blank screen for case entry so you can enter in a new case. You can also do Save and Invoice. Now that's going to save the information, but it's also going to make this case ready to actually invoice. It will also give you a screen saying what date that you want this invoice to be. So I would say the preference would be to do invoice with defaults, and that's going to do the same thing as invoice with save with invoice. It's going to invoice with today's date and then close the screen. So that's what we're going to do. From here, after doing a case, I'm going to show you entering a payment. So we're going to go to New in Bulk Payment, and we're going to pull up account number. We'll pull up account number 1. And they have a balance here of $1,137, and maybe they have not paid that in full. Maybe that they only sent in a check of $1,000, and maybe that was check number 123, and it was today's date. If you want to add in additional payments, we can choose another account, and this one has a balance of $500, and maybe they've paid this one in full. And maybe that was check number 789. You can also, instead of using check numbers, you can also say it was a credit card. So maybe it was Visa instead for $500. And now we're going to save the changes. Now we can take a look at some reports now that we have a case and some payments in there. So if we go to Reports and Accounting, and we're going to actually look at work tickets first. So Reports, Production, and Work Tickets. If you do run into this issue where you can't see your buttons, you can right-click on the text, and then you can change the height, and then you can right-click and click Save to File. There are different styles for the work ticket. Right now we only have one case in there, so there's only going to be one work ticket. And you're going to see that it has the date at the top that we put for the doctor's date, the account itself, the doctor, the item that you're doing, the patient, and you can also have a tooth chart with notes and preferences. Again, there's other styles, so you can have 2 work tickets per sheet or just 1. It's up to you. And then after they have been printed, you want to say yes so they don't show up again. Now we're going to move on to invoices. Now we have invoiced 1 case, so we're going to go to Reports, Billing, Invoices. And you'll see here this is the ABC Clinic, the Jane Smith that we did, and we're going to just do Preview. Now there's different styles here that you can do, but ultimately this would give you the information for your dental lab, and then you're going to have your account, your patient, and the items that we put on the case with a grand total. If you do not charge tax, we can take that tax information out. Going on to some reports, I'm going to close out of here and say yes that are printed okay, so that invoice does not show back up to print. If it did not print okay, click no and you can reprint it. We're going to go to Reports, Accounting, Age Trial Balance Short, and again we're going to change the properties here real quick. That way then you can see what this report looks like. We've entered in some payments, and we had some with a starting balance. So ABC Clinic was current amount of $1,137.75. They've made $1,000 in payment, and so they now owe only $137.75. Dental Designs has not made any payments, and so they still owe that $100. And then Southside owed $500, they paid $500, so now they show 0. And so this is just a quick way to see how much everyone owes and if they've paid. Another report that's really helpful, especially for closing out your month to make sure everything balances, is the cash receipts. Cash receipts is a list of all your payments that you've received during that time period. Now, we've only received 2 payments during this time period, but both of these are listed. One's check and one's credit card. And you'll see here that they're listed in different categories, but totaled here for grand total. The last report that we're going to recommend, at least for end of month, is going to the report menu, billing, and the invoice register. So this is a list of all your cases for this time period. There's only going to be 1 on this report. Well, actually, it looks like we have done other ones in this database. And so you're going to see in here, you're going to see how much has been billed out and your invoice total all together. At the end of the month, after you've looked over your reports, you want to make sure that you do your statements. So we're going to go to List and Statements, and we're going to create a statement job. So when we go to Statement Job, we're going to click Add New, and it's going to ask you about the reports. Have you run and checked all your reports necessary? We're going to say yes. And I'm going to do a statement as of today, and so you'll see in here it has today's date, and it does mark the end of the month. That's just the way that we're going to set it up for today. Click Save New. You're going to see that I now have a statement job. This is going to be everything that has been invoiced or paid during this time period, and this is what you can give to your doctor. So to actually see your statement, you're going to go to Reports, Billing, Statements. Okay, so we're going to click on our statement job, the one that we just created, and Preview. So you're going to see your company that you put in, the case, we had a starting balance, and then we have our payment. And so at the very bottom it shows how much they actually owe. There are different statement styles. You can have a full sheet or a half sheet. It's up to what your preferences are. If there are additional questions, you can always call into our tech support department or our sales department. We can answer questions about the version 7, especially in your demo. If you have any questions, you can also look at our website at www.lab as in lab, SYS as in systems, GRP as in group.com.